Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library System. And guess what? It's almost Valentine's Day. So I thought we would make something that was indicative of Valentine's Day. Of course, it's going to involve lots of red, but I thought we would do something. I know before I've done lots of hearts and things like that, but this time I thought I would do something that's not as specialized that you might not feel like you want to wear after Valentine's Day. I wanted to give you something that you could wear all year round and it would be really pretty. We're going to be discovering this as we go because I've got a little pattern down here that I've started so that we can get going on it. But it's going to involve wire wrapping, lots of chain, and jump rings, a lobster clasp, and red rondelle 8mm beads. So that's going to be the whole piece. And I have a feeling that it's going to be absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to get going on it. So the things that you're going to need are round nose pliers, chain nose or square nose pliers, cutters, a ruler, 24 gauge wire, 20 gauge wire, because I think we're going to do a little charm in the center. And what am I looking for? Chain, two sizes of chain. Now this is going to be, it's going to be up to you what sizes you use. I'm just using some small chain to make my little swoops that you're gonna see in a minute. And then a slightly larger chain to go around my neck. And that would just be any normal size neck chain that you would use, a chain that you would use to make a necklace. So the size of this is really an individual thing. You can decide what sizes you want. But I can tell you that the little chain that I'm using for my little swoopy part, because it's going to have just rows of little swoops like this with some red beads on it, and you'll see it. You'll see my little pattern down here when I take you to the small camera. This is very, very small, very delicate. 2 by 3 millimeter holes. Ooh, that's glary. But anyway, that's what I have for that, because I just wanted something really delicate to give it kind of a, not a waterfall look, but it's going to have different rows of swoops going down. And then for the part going around my neck, it's going to be 4 millimeters. I think it's 3 by 4. You can go bigger than that if you want to. It depends on how big you want your necklace chain to be. Just giving you some possibilities. But let's go ahead and get started on this because there's not a lot of moving parts. As I said, it's very, very simple, but I think it's going to be really elegant when we finish. So let's get going. All right, so here is my idea of what we're going to do. I've only got 3 down here. We're going to do 4. But I wanted to just give you kind of a visual of what I was thinking. And now that you have the little visual, we're going to get started to work on it. This is the only one I actually have semi put together. Put that off to the side over here until we get to it. The rest of them I'm going to show you how to do. So we're basically just going to be wrapping our beads and making our graduated little swoops. So let's start with that. The first one is going to have 1 bead attached on the ends. The second one is going to have 2 beads attached on the ends. And these beads are going to be attached to the chain as you saw. So what we want to do is wrap each of our beads, attach it to the chain that's going to swoop, and attach it to the chain that's going around our neck. So let's start with our wrapping portion. So what I'm going to need is 24 gauge wire, and it doesn't take very much. You need a good inch or so on either side of your bead in order to make your loop and to wrap the bead, and then whatever the size of the bead is. In this case, it's 8 millimeter, which is about 1/4 of an inch, not very much. So you need about 2 1/4 inches for each of your beads. And what I like to do is just get a length of, those of you who get kits are going to have a long length of wire. Depends on how long you want to keep it. But I like to give myself a good 10 to 12 inches. Just cut that off and then make my first loop. So what I'm going to do, I like to move things out of the way that are going to draw your eye so that you don't get have too much to look at other than my hands. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make my first loop. I'm going to give myself a good inch or so on one side, bend back my wire, take my round nose pliers, slide my wire about 1/3 of the way down my pliers, and that is also relative. It depends on the type of pliers you have as far how far down you go. It doesn't have to be too big a loop because you're just going to be attaching it to another piece of wire or the chain, which isn't that thick. So all I'm going to do is go down about 1/3 of the way down my wire, take the tail end, the short end of my wire and wrap it over. Oh, 1/3 of the way down my pliers. I just heard what I said. Take that tail, wrap it over my pliers until it's resting down the side with the long wire. Then I'm going to open my pliers and turn them and clamp back down and pull that wire until it's resting underneath my pliers like that. So I have a loop. And I'm going to stop there because now I need to attach this to something. In this case, it's going to be the end of my chain. Now, as far as your chain goes, this is again all relative. It depends on how much of a swoop you want in your chain. I gave myself 2 inches. 2 inches for my center chain, and then I'm going to add 1 inch for every swoop that I go out. Okay, so I'm starting with 2 inches. Take my wire that I've just made an open loop. I'm going to slide my chain on my wire, and I want to make sure I pick up the very last loop in my chain and slide that over my wire until it fits down into the loop. Then I'm going to take my pliers, grab the face of my wire, which is just this open part. I call that the face, and wrap the tail of my wire around the stem. That's this part. Just 2 or 3 times. And that, it just depends on how much of a wrap you want. I give it 2 times, maybe 3. Doesn't have to be that long a wrap. So once I have the wrap that I want, I clip off the end. As close as I can get to my wire. Now, I don't want this to fly across the room, this little tail, and there's not enough of it for me to hold on to. So I'll take this little thing that I have here and turn my wire down until that little tail is facing down into this little well. and then I'll clip it. And that little piece falls down inside the little well and doesn't go flying across the room, which is annoying. And then that little tiny end that's left on there, you don't want to leave that sticking up because you don't want it to scratch you or stick you when you're trying to wear your piece. So we just push it down with our pliers and then check to make sure it's nice and flat so that it won't scratch. Then I'm going to pick up a bead. I'm going to slide that on my wire like so. And I'm going to make a loop on the other side. Again, I'm going to bend back my wire. And the reason I bend back the wire first is because if I do that, my loop ends up right on top. Let me see if I can get to where this is visible. Right on top, centered on my bead. If I do it while it's just leaning, while it's up here on the top, the loop ends up on the side. But if I do it while the wire is on the side, the loop ends up on the top. Just a little trick. Okay, bend back my wire, slide my wire about 1/3 of the way down my beads, down my pliers. And here's another trick. I can't really do it because I have this in here. But if you're ever making wrapped loops and you've wrapped one loop on one side and you're not sure how big to make your other loop, just slide your pliers in and that'll show you approximately where you did your loop on the other side. Again, another little tip. Okay, slide my wire down about 1/3 of the way down my pliers because I know that's where I was the first time. Bring my wire over the pliers and in between my pliers and my bead until I have a loop. There it is. They look about the same size, nice. And I'm going to not wrap it yet because I need to attach this to my actual necklace chain. That is going to go like that. So I'm going to leave that open and clip this off, give myself a good inch, clip it off. Then I'm going to go to the other side and do my bead for the other side. So again, I'm going to bend my wire back, give myself a good inch, slide my wire about 1/3 of the way down my pliers, wrap that little short tail across my pliers and down the side of my long wire, turn my pliers, bring that short tail of wire under the pliers until it's horizontal to the rest of the wire. Then I'm going to take my pliers out, grab my chain, and slide that wire into the very last loop of my chain again. And let it slide down and just snap right into my little loop, like so. Grab my pliers again. Now, one thing that you want to be aware of when you're grasping the face of your loop is that that chain's in there. So you don't want to grab it too tight or too hard because you don't want to mar your chain. You just need to have enough of a grip to hold on to it while you're wrapping your wire around the stem. Don't have to have it in a death grip, just enough to control your loop. Okay, once I have my 2 little wraps around there, if I have any left, I can clip it off, but in this case, I think I'm good. Good going, Virginia. Just gonna push down that end like we did on the other one so that it's not going to scratch me. I always give it the finger test to make sure it's not sticking up, waiting and ready to attack. Slide my other bead on. Again, I'm going to bend back my wire. Now I'm going to show you what happens if I don't bend back my wire. If I just make my loop when it's on top, slide my wire down that third of the way, and I just make my loop from here, what happens is it kind of ends up over on the side. And that can be corrected, but I just wanted to show you the difference. So now it's kind of leaning over to the side. And the way you can correct that is to just take your pliers, take the little tip of your pliers and roll it back until it's resting on top of your bead again, instead of on the side. Nothing that cannot be corrected. So there we go. This side is going to attach to your chain. So now I'm going to cut that off. Give myself a good inch again. Snip that off. And let's attach this to the chain. Now, how, you ask, do you know where to attach? Well, all I do is put the ends of my chain together. And just for reference, I have 18 inches of chain here. It's probably going to be more than I need because I don't want it to hang down too low on my chest. I want it to be up high enough so that all my little swoops show in a good place. But I'm starting with 18 inches just so, because I can cut it off if I need to so that it hangs, so that I have the drop that I want. Now, this is something you can try to do with a beadboard, but the problem with that is these little swoops are going to hang down below your beadboard. And so it's going to be a little awkward to try to do that. This needs to be cut off. There we go. All right, so let me find my two links here. Put them together, the two end links. And you can do this with your fingers, or you can take a piece of wire and slide them through both of those. It's probably the easier way to do it. Why didn't I think of that before? And then let it hang down until you find your center. And so there's my last little rung right there. That's my center. And now again, it depends on the look that you want. Here's my centerpiece. I'm going to take a little piece of wire. This is just a little piece that I'm throwing away. And I'm going to slide it into that little center loop, just so I have a marker. So there's my center. And I'm just going to go over probably about 5 rings from the center. But let's see what it looks like. This is about the look I'm going for my center, for my smallest loop. Yeah. So that's going to be about, there's the center right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, about 5 over on this side and 5 over on that side. So let's count off again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And slide my wire through that opening, through that little loop. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to bring this down a little closer so you might be able to see better what I'm doing. So there's my little 5th loop from the center. I'm going to slide this in, slide that tail of the wire in and down into the loop until both of my loops are interlocking, like that. And then I'm going to wrap it. So again, I'm going to grab the face of my wire and wrap that tail around 2, 3 times, your choice. You just need 2, that's plenty. Cut it off. Again, little short tail there. Don't want it to fly. Tap it right down in there. Good. There it is. See? But I controlled the cut. And now there's my little tail there that I want to push snugly down against the other wires. A little bit more. Use the finger test. If I don't get scratched, now I did my job. Yeah. All right. Now I need to go to the other side. There's the long side there. Yeah, so I'm going to go 5 spaces from the center again, which would be 10 from here. So where's my center? And you can mark it better than I did. I was just giving myself a little marker. So I know it's 5, the 5th loop from the center. And here's my loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so there's my center. And I'm going to go 5 loops over from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my 5th loop. So I'm going to slide my wire, the straight edge of my wire, through my loop. And let it slide down in there. Let that chain link just drop down into that loop. Just snaps right in there. And now it's time to wrap. Grab the face of my loop and wrap that tail around 2 times. 2 times for me. Now, I'm going to show you another little trick to when you're going to clip this, because see how this is straight out, just going straight out to the side? That's going to be hard to push down under or against the other wires. So what I like to do is take my pliers and turn it a little bit so that it's going in the direction that I want it to go. So I'm going to just give it a little curve before I cut. So now it's curving around in the direction I want to go. Then I can take my pliers. I like to scoot it a little bit away from the other wire so I don't accidentally clip the rings I've already wrapped. Now this is long enough so I can hold on to it. Clip it off, get rid of that little piece, and push down that little end. Push that tail down against the other wires. A little bit sticking up here. There we go. And there's my first little swoop. Neat, huh? That's the first one. Nice. So now we're going to go on to the next one. I'm going to add another inch. This one's 2. So this one is 3. And that's my aesthetic. If you want your swoops to be further apart, then you just make your chains longer. But I just want mine to, this is what I envisioned when I decided to do this. Yeah, not too far. Not too far apart. Yeah, okay, so now this first one on the furthest one to the inside has 1 bead. The next one is going to have 2 beads. Dangling from the chain, the necklace chain, and my next little swoop. Okay, so again, let's wrap my beads. Here's the wire I started with. Still have a good, nice piece there. So I'm going to bend my wire back. Slide my wire down 1/3 of the way down my pliers. Wrap that short tail across the pliers, turn the pliers until they're horizontal to the wire. And bring that little tail under and stop. I have to always talk to myself so that I don't forget and accidentally wrap it before I attach it to my chain. So we always have to leave that loop open before we attach, until we attach. Okay, so slide that on. And here's another thing. You can use your round nose pliers to hold on to the face of your wire, but be careful where you grasp it, because if you grasp too hard with the tip of your pliers, you're going to end up putting a little dent in your wire. If you want to use your round nose pliers, slide it back as far as you can go and still grab the face without putting a dent in it. That's just a little trick that I've learned, because you don't want to put little waves in your wire. And then I'm going to wrap it around my 2 times. It's really nice to be able to do it this way because I have something to lean my wire against. Okay, let's give it one more wrap around for my second wrap. Okay, and let's clip it off. Again, I'm going to put a little bit of a curve in my wire so that it's easy to push down when it's time. I'm going to clip that off. Still have a little space on there that I can hold on to it and control where the wire goes. And now I'm going to push that little tail down. Nice. Grab my bead, feed it on, bend my wire back again. Now this bead is going to attach to another bead. So I can go ahead and close this one as long as I leave the next one open for the attachment. Okay, wrap it around. And I can just leave that in there because there's nothing blocking me, and wrap. Give myself my 2 wraps. Give it a little curve. I just gave it the curve with my fingernail this time. But if you don't want to mess up your manicure, use your pliers. Snip that off. Push that end down. And let's go on to the next one. Do I have enough? I think I do. I think I have enough in this little piece. It's a little shorter, but I think I can make it work. Yeah, I can make that work. Okay, wrap that up top. And now I'm going to slide this in the loop with my first bead. Got my open loop here. Slide that down until it's nice and snug within the other loop. Have my pliers. I'm going to do the round nose again. Go all the way back here. Be careful not to smash the other loop. And wrap. This is really nice when I only have a really short tail to have this, these pliers to lean the wire against. And this wire is very soft and malleable, so you don't have to worry too much about having to put too much pressure on the wire when you're wrapping. I think I have just enough to not have to cut off the end. And I still got my 2 wraps in there on that little tiny tail. It's nice not to have to waste any wire. Come on, work with me. Let's give it my little twist. There we go. And push it down. Nice. See a little bit of it sticking up still, so let's give it another little push, another little squeeze. Okay, put my bead on. And my wire back. Just enough on this side. Yay! Slide my wire down, 1/3 of the way down my pliers, just like the other times. Flip that end over the pliers, turn the pliers. Wrap that underneath. That's a little bigger than I need. Squeeze that a little closed. There we go. Doesn't have to be quite that large. Okay. And this is the bead that's going to be attached to my necklace chain. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Let's do the other side. Put those beads on before I attach them to the necklace chain. So I need another piece of wire here. Just give myself a few inches. Okay. Bend back my wire again. Give myself that nice little inch. Slide my wire down 1/3 of the way down my pliers. Wrap that tail over the pliers. Turn my pliers until it's horizontal to the rest of the wire, and bring that tail underneath and attach it to the other end of my chain. Again, make sure you get that very last ring of your chain on there. Snap it right down into my loop. Grab the face of my loop and wrap. Two wraps around and snip it off. Hold on to that tail, snip, get rid of the tail there, and push that end down nice and snugly against that wire. Slide on my bead. And back my wire. Grab my pliers. Slide that wire down a third of the way down my pliers again. I just love being walked through every single thing that we've already done 5 times. I hope you're not too bored. I hope. And again, I can close this one up because I'm going to use the other one to attach. So let's go ahead and leave my round nose pliers in there and just wrap it around 2 times. And let's clip it off. Give it a little clip. Push down that end. And let's go on to the next one. Bend back the tail. Grab my round nose pliers, slide my wire down a third of the way down my pliers, wrap that short tail over my pliers, turn my pliers until they're horizontal, bring that tail around until I have my loop, and attach it to my other loop. Slide that loop down into my open wire. So it's nice and snuggly buggly. Grab my pliers, slide them way down if you're using your round nose so that you don't put a dent in your loop. And wrap 2 times. 1 and 2. Okay. Let's clip that end off. Get rid of that. And push down that little part that will attack me if I let it. Nice and smooth. Put my bead on. Bend my wire back. Slide my wire down my pliers about a third of the way. Wrap that tail over my pliers, excuse me. Turn my pliers, bring it all the way under until I have a nice little loop there. And now we are ready to attach it to the necklace part. Let's see how it's going to look. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty. Let's do it. Okay, so how far out do I want this to go? again, I'm going to give myself 5 rings from the last one that's attached. All right, so there's my last ring that's attached. My little bead that's attached to the ring. So starting from that ring, we're going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do it again, just to make sure I've got it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to attach it to the 5th ring. Let's just slide that in there real quick. And pull that down in there until it snaps right into my open ring. All right, what's happening? Come on, go down in there. Yeah, okay. I need to open up my ring a little bit because it doesn't want to go. There we go. Oh, it just came back out. There we go. Now, my goodness. That's in there. And I'm ready to wrap. Again, I can use my round nose or my flat nose. And with all of this chain going on here, I think I'm going to go with the tip of my flat pliers because it's easier to do. Okay, I'm going to wrap it around once and twice until it's very, very nice. And then I'm going to cut it off nice and close. And again, I like to lift it away from my other rings because I don't want to accidentally snip through the rings that I've just made and have to start all over. That would just be heartbreaking. And believe me, it has happened. Snip that off. Put that to the side. And let's push down this little end that's sticking up. Ready to attack. Da-da, 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 da-da. When things get repetitive, I start doing stupid things to entertain myself, and you just happen to be on the receiving end of it. Don't judge me too harshly. A little more. There we go. Actually, people just tell me that my videos are really funny, which kind of is embarrassing, but whatever. Whatever works. Whatever gets the job done. All right, there's one. And now I need to do the other one. Let me see, there's my loop with my first looped beaded loop in it. I'm going to count 5 from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 5th loop is where we're going. And the way I figure, count it twice just to make sure, or 3 times in this case. 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5. And I'm going to slide. I'm going to take it really close so hopefully you can see what I'm doing really well. So there's my tail. There's my little loop. I'm going to slide that tail into the loop and just snap that right in to my bead loop. So now it's attached to the chain and I can wrap my loop. Yeah, okay. This is a really small tail. I think I'm going to have just enough and not have to cut any off. I love not having to waste. Okay. Push that end down. Get it down there. There we go. All right, let's see what we've got so far. Come on. Whoa, pretty. It's a little twisted. Get untwisted. Come on, come on, come on. Untwist. There we go. Ah, nice. And let's add this one. Counting 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slide that in there. Very nice. Wrap. Rappity wrap. A rappity wrap. Oh, I'm making such an idiot of myself today. Okay. There we go. Get around there. I don't think I have. I have maybe a fraction of an inch more than I usually have, but I think I'm just going to push it down. I don't think I'm going to bother to cut that off because I think it's fine. This is a very organic piece. So a little fraction of an inch more of a wrap isn't going to make or break it. Get it down there. There we go. And let's do the other side. Come on. Come on, come on. There. Get it untangled. Get it all flipped. Okay. And let's go to the other side. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my 5th one. Right there. Slide my wire into my chain link. And let's do a little wrap. Using my pliers to hold that face and wrap it around. You know what, when I'm doing this and I'm not on camera, I'm still doing this because it gives me, it's entertaining. It gives me something to do, unless I'm doing it when I'm watching television or something, in which case that's my entertainment. But when I don't have anything going on that I can watch or listen to, usually just listen to, I talk to myself. I am sane. That's how it works. Right, let's push that little edge down. There. Let's see what we have now. Ooh. Ah. One more. We're going to do one more. And this one's going to have 4 beads come around. I'm going to do that one off camera so you don't have to listen to my chatter. Ooh. I can show you. There we go. So that you don't have to listen to my chatter while I do it. And I will be right back and show you what it looks like. Ooh, can't wait. Okay, be right back. Just a moment. Okay, so here we are. And I think what I'm going to do is just put a little, I was wondering about this. I'm going to put a little dangle right down in there, just so we have something in the center. So let's do that. And I'm going to just make it really simple. I think I'm just going to put a bead on there, attach it, and put a little spiral at the bottom. So that's only going to take a couple of inches of 20 gauge wire. Okay, so I'm going to get 2 inches of 20 gauge wire. There we go. Snip that off. 2 inches. Yes, there we go. Okay. I'm just going to do a simple loop to attach at the top. So I just bend my wire back. Again, it's 20 gauge. Move this so it's not distracting. There. Again, I'm going to go down about 1/3 of the way down my wire, like so. And I'm going to make a loop. I'm just going to twist, open, clamp, twist, open, clamp, twist until I have a full closed loop. There we go. Here's my loop. And I'm going to put my bead on. And I only need, it doesn't have to be too much because I don't want my spiral to overwhelm my bead. So I'm going to cut this so it's nice and straight across. First I'm going to measure because I really only want about, yeah, that's good, about 1.5 inches to make my spiral. So I'm going to just cut this until it's nice and straight. Again, I don't have anything to hold on to, so I'm going to turn it down into my little spool and cut it off so that it drops right down there. There it went. It kind of scooted out. But at least I don't have to chase it down. Now, this is going to be turned. This loop is going to attach this way on my wire. So I want my spiral to be going right and left. So I'm going to call this front to back for my attachment loop. My spiral is going to be going side to side. So let's make my spiral. And the way I'm going to do that is to take my round nose pliers and grab the very tip of my wire I don't want anything sticking out the back of my pliers, and that's the tiniest bit of a challenge. The best way to do it is not grip it too tight, because if you do, the wire is going to it's going to slide out. So just get a nice, easy grip. See how it's fighting me? Once I get a little turn in there, I can keep going because now I have some leverage. So I'm just going to keep rotating till I have a small loop. Now see how that's more of an oval shape? In order to take care of that so that I can make it more rounded, I'm going to cut it off right here where it's the curviest. So right here where it's the most round is where I'm just going to snip this off. Throw that little piece away, and then keep wrapping. That way, when I make my loop, it's actually going to be round instead of oval shaped. See, nice and round. And then I'm going to keep wrapping. I'm going to continue to wrap the wire around itself. Now I want a nice tight spiral. So what I'm going to do is grab my square pliers and hold on to as far down as I can go to the end of my wire. And I'm going to keep wrapping the wire around itself nice and tight. I want to keep it nice and close because I don't want a big spiral. Now, if you choose to make a big spiral, that's up to you. But I'm making a nice tight spiral so that it doesn't take away from my red bead. Now, once I get close to the bead, see how it's kind of on the side of my bead? I'm going to take my pliers, my round nose pliers, the very tip. I'm going to slide it in there, the very tip, grab my wire and bend it back until my spiral is in the center of my bead. You can also use your fingers to do that, but I want it to end up right in the center. And there's my spiral. And if you need to make any adjustments, you can use your fingers. This is very soft wire, but I want my spiral to be right in the middle of my bead. And now I'm going to attach it to my wire. Now, I should have 7 spaces in between here. I think I should have an odd number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So I'm going to attach it right here in the middle. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to attach it on number 5, right in the center. 1, 2, 4, and 5. So I opened up my loop. Oops, get back here. Slide it onto my chain. Close it up. And there's my little attachment in the center. Let's see what we have. Get down there. Oh, isn't that pretty? Yes, I like it. So now you just need to finish it. And for my finishing, I'm just going to put a nice lobster claw on there. So what I'm going to do is take a couple of jump rings, and you all know me and my need to make sure things are secure. So I like to use 2 jump rings. So I'm just going to put in, doesn't have a front or back, so it doesn't matter which side I put it on if you're left-handed or right-handed. So proper way to open my jump ring. Grab one side of my jump ring. Here's my opening. Grab one side with my pliers and push down with my thumb on the other side, and it's open. Or grab one side with my pliers, grab the other side with another set of pliers, and twist. And again, nicely open. Now I'm going to attach it to the very end of my chain. And I'm going to use a closed jump ring for my bead here. I mean, for my, what am I thinking? Closed jump ring to attach my lobster clasp. I couldn't think of the name. How sad. Anyway, let me take that off of there. Add my lobster clasp, add my closed jump ring. And close it up. Nice and tight. Then take my other open jump ring. Come on, come on. To turn it the way I need it to go. And attach that to my chain. Again, make sure I go in my last loop. Attach that to my closed jump ring. Oh, come on. I can always do this with my fingers but I'm always afraid you won't be able to see what I'm doing. That's why I use the pliers and fiddle around. Okay, slide it in that last chain link. Slide it into my closed jump ring. You don't ever want to slide it into the other jump ring. You just want to go to the closed jump ring and the chain link. And then close it up. Adjust it until it's nicely secure. And there's 1/2. Now, it occurs to me that I do not see another jump ring. So I have to go get one. Be right back. All right, got my jump ring. Let's open that baby up. Attach it to the other side of my chain. Slide on my lobster clasp. There we go, right down there in that little ring. Close it up. And we have a necklace. Yeah, there we go. I think it'll work better if I put it on a display so you can see what it looks like. Is that good? Come on. There we go. Get around there. Nice. Oh, off kilter on camera. Oh, straighten up, straighten, straighten. There we go. Nice. Okay, let's put it on the display. And let's see what it looks like. Ta-da! Neat, huh? Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. Ah, it's perfect. You know what? And you could even add more strands. I think it would hang okay if I added more strands on there. I think that would be so pretty, but this way it's not too much. I could probably pull this off with just a white t-shirt and or a white blouse and a pair of jeans and not look too dressy. I think. Oh, look, it even goes with my earrings. Oh, you can't see. It's on this side. It's a little lighter over here. Ah, isn't that neat? Oh, I love it. My favorite color is red, so that's not surprising. But oh, this is so pretty. I really like that. And how much simpler could it be? 2 sizes of chain. You might not have even had to change the size of the chain, but I just wanted to make sure it was not too chunky down here. So 2 different sizes of chain. I used 8 millimeter rondelle crystals. You can use a different size if you like. And 20 gauge wire for the little centerpiece there, which was just a couple of inches. If you don't want to do one of those, you don't have to. Or if you want to dangle a charm in the center or something, you can. Or if you want to leave it open, that's just a choice that you can make. And then to wrap my beads, I used 24 gauge wire, and then I used a lobster clasp and jump rings to attach it in the back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. So easy. It's amazing what you can do with a few beads, some wire, and some chain. This is what you can do. Anyway, that's our program for today. I hope you enjoyed it. You get out there where you can see me. Oh, my glasses. Ooh. Anyway, that's I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you did or if you did not. I hope I at the very least made you laugh, because good Lord, this is crazy. But I hope you liked this piece. Please let me know one way or the other if you did. And please know you don't have to use red beads, and it does not have to be for Valentine's Day. That was my theme for the day because Valentine's Day is coming up. That's the only reason I did that. Enjoy it. Make one. Let me see pictures, please. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, you can post it on the library Facebook page, or you can email me at JewelryJen, that's J-E-W, I always lose the spelling, JEWELRYGIN 20 at gmail.com. JEWELRYGIN 20 at gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. And until next week, see you later. Bye-bye.